The important thing is also the postal votes and proxy votes. That you've got to actually must register for those.
So that's going to be in that article.
So I can include that.
Put it all together as a roundup.
I've put some on Facebook a few weeks ago about that as well, just to remind people through that way. So we just sort of think from there, just keep on.
The first question I think that would come to somebody's mind if you say these things is, how do I check whether I'm on the register? So a little instruction on how to check whether you're on the register, and that might not be a bad thing.
They're confirming here, or is that your idea of how?
Well,
because we've got all the numbers. Oh right, I'll let you handle that.
What's the last date of registration?
20th of April.
is that as a candidate?
The last day to register to vote is 20th of April. Last day to receipt for application for postal vote is the 21st of April. Last date for receipt of new proxy voting applications for this election is the 28th of April.
So really, if we're going to include these things, we
should
really
be
got to try and guarantee the distribution.
Yeah, but I'll be looking for the distribution sometime back end of March, early April. Hopefully try and get in before the last day to actually stand as a candidate, which is the 9th. Now that does mean that we're looking at distribution over the Easter weekend, which may be a bit difficult. It depends when we get the document over to Ben Hill, printed, get it back again, when Mr McDermott's around to actually deliver it. But so we may miss that date, but we should certainly meet the date to actually register for voting. I can't see there should be a problem with that.
Normally we would be aiming for March the 21st as the date by which the newsletter should be ready. I mean, that's a Saturday, so I would like, personally, I'd like to see the first deliveries of the newsletter going out on March the 23rd. Is that pushing it a bit?
It might be.
Considering that we're meeting now.
It might be. When we looked before, we were looking at a second meeting date as the full council, beginning of next month. We get back on that Thursday. If everything's okay, we should send to Ben Hill on Friday, but they have it for 2 weeks. You're then looking at the 23rd, 22nd, 20th, Friday the 20th is the absolute earliest they could get it back. It usually takes about 2 weeks then to have the document to get it checked and everything.
Well, how ready are... Well, let's, first of all, can I ask you, has anybody else here got any more suggestions for the spring newsletter?
Well, John's put in he's having the centre 2 pages for the neighbourhood plan. And in fact, your environment piece might fit well in with that.
Yeah. Right, I'll liaise with him then about how much space I can have.
Yeah, I mean it's just a suggestion, and then I'm having some of the back page.
Yeah, and the other thing I can think of is advertising formal opening. There's a little banner.
JPF.
Yeah, we need to include that.
Which is...
We would have a picture there, would we?
Yeah.
is it before or after?
Because we're looking at issuing from Monday the 23rd and formal open's not till Wednesday 25th.
Yes, that's it. Well, it's an advertising event rather than...
So we can put the fact it's going to be open for
yes,
but
also
actually have a picture of the actual opening.
There's no way you get the picture for that.
So we're issuing the newsletter before the actual event. So you can't have a
Yeah.
picture.
Yes, I see what you're saying.
No, you won't.
You can't.
So how are people going to find out about it then?
That's what I say. You're advertising the opening event rather than
So
what happened at the opening event.
Something, yeah. You can have a picture of the actual opening event, but you can advertise about this going to be open.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is to bring it forward, because as every boy can't make it, it won't matter, will it?
Bring the newsletter forward or the opening forward?
The opening forward, yeah. It's as simple as that.
Oh,
really.
right, okay, yeah.
And we haven't tried to contact anyone else yet, so it leaves those dates open, so we can do that.
So it'll be a report back on the JPF opening?
Yeah.
Still going to be tight. When's the cut-off?
Well, that I don't think there'll be a problem.
What date are you thinking of?
Well,
You're looking at pushing the actual issue of the newsletter back. Because You look at, whatever you do, you look at it, it's going to be 2 weeks at Ben Hill. You've got to
Yeah,
get-
but they can slot that in the last week.
Yeah, but you have to get the report written, work out where it's going.
Yeah.
It's got to be signed off before it can be sent over to Ben Hill. So you look
Yeah,
so when you're going to have the actual opening, so we can get it into a report, get it into a committee, get it signed
yeah,
off,
but
get it
it's,
sent to Ben Hill.
that isn't going to be.
Well, you're looking at,
Well,
whatever the
it's-
opening is, you're looking at 3 weeks before you can actually issue the newsletter. After that date.
When did you say you wanted to, when was the last date that you were going to hold the last newsletter meeting?
We thought about originally, we were looking at going for on Thursdays of 4 council meetings. So we're looking at getting everything back in here within 2 weeks, so I can issue
So that's the 6th of March?
It's the 5th, Wednesday the 5th.
5th, yeah. Okay.
Well, is it feasible to anticipate and get multiple words and just refine it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I say. It isn't going to be a difficult task. You've only got to, all you have to do is allocate the space, and then put your picture in a set of words. That's it.
I think that's feasible.
Yeah.
You're not going to be here on that Thursday, are you? Or are you going to be here because you're on a course on the Friday?
No, well, I'm not going,
You're not going on the Thursday?
yeah, the practitioners is the Thursday, Friday. I'm only going to the Friday.
Right, so that's possible then,
To the full council.
to have a newsletter meeting before the full council.
Which means I can't issue it then until Monday. I can't send it back until Monday. So I physically won't be here to send it on the Friday. So that it won't go until the Monday night over to Ben Hill.
What's the day?
So it's still
and
2
that-
weeks, isn't it?
Well, that week, I mean, if we send all the rest with a frame of the space that we're going to use, send all the rest, all he's got to do is put the text and the picture in it. I mean, that's going to take him 10 minutes at the
I
most.
think it's all feasible as long as people respect deadlines, you know. But it seems to me that people have thought about what they're going to write, so it wouldn't be an uphill struggle to meet the deadlines, would it?
No, I don't think so.
And there's that one as well.
I've just got to write my little piece, that's all.
Councillor Taylor put forward a bit about the BKV.
Mm-hmm.
She asked if that can be included.
You're on the back page?
Well, John wants
Yes.
the full 2 pages on the...
Well, are you happy with being on the back page? Seems a
It's
bit low
remote,
key for you.
It is really, yeah.
You
But
know.
I mean, I was allowing Michael to have the front page.
That's the bit that it's...
Can't we signal up, you know,
Yeah, 'cause
exciting
it
article?
isn't going to be very
Must
exciting
be
talking
read.
about election dates and things like that, is it? We'll put him on the back page, I'll have the front there.
But
Good idea, I like it.
And the JPF opening on the front.
And the JPF on the front.
You seem to be squirming a bit there.
yes, yes.
So what do you think about that then?
As I said on Thursday following the meeting of the Borough Council, we are in a different position to normal. We have to be extremely careful what we write on any of these articles. We can't talk about what the council achieved in the last 4 years, because that's politically motivated. We can't talk about the borough.
Yeah.
We can't talk about other councils. All that can be interpreted.
Well, it's got to be relatively banal, hasn't it?
This one here has got to be. So anything that comes in there on the
If it-
chairman's reflections, anything like that's got to
If
be.
it's non-political, it won't matter.
Surely we can talk
It's
about the achievements of
No.
the parish council
No.
as a
No.
body.
No, because that can be interpreted as electioneering, because it'd be reflecting the main party in the parish council, so therefore it's electioneering.
Well,
not part
that
of
still doesn't matter whether mine's on the front or the back page.
No, I'm saying,
So we'll
Anything-
put mine on the front page and yours can be on the back as it's, you know.
anything you write has got
Bland.
to take account of the fact
Look, I'm always bland.
that we are now in a different position. Normally, obviously, we look at the publicity code. We're now looking at, it becomes a police matter if you start looking at electioneering and becomes the Representation of People's Act. It's a different ball game.
Well, there's enough of us to discuss this and to decide whether it's whether there's anything political in there or not.
I think
Bring the
practical
Bring the cake.
details about how to register to vote, for example, should be on the back.
Yeah.
I know the spotlight is on the front. I understand that completely.
Ordering isn't matter. The ordering is not the issue.
No,
the
it
issue
isn't.
is
Well,
what is
that's
actually in the word, and that's what we've got
Yes,
to convey.
well, that's
very
always
well.
going to be an issue.
And we recognise
Sorry,
that.
I thought you got an issue with where things were in it.
No, I don't mind.
Logic
A
too.
little bit about how to write that doesn't matter where that goes. All I'm thinking of, if you start putting in, we normally have the chair's reflections. It's okay. But if you start talking about anybody at the borough, talk about the candidates, talk about the people that what was been achieved, anything like that we would normally might put into a normal.
Need to set aside
Article.
a longer session in front of the next.
You'd have to be very, very careful.
Yes.
Because
Well, as I say, there's enough of us here to decide on any matter in that
what you must
respect.
remember is when you start coming to this stage now, you're looking at the police coming in, being involved, and
Yes,
I don't
Yes,
know.
if I'm on the front page with the Jubilee, there's going to be very little space for me to write anything.
It needs to be just really positive and general, doesn't it?
That's me all over
Really.
here.
My advice would be not to do one at all.
Well, we won't take your advice.
But is it going to be called Chairman's Reflections? Is it going to be called Chairman?
Well, no, it can be called anything at all.
Does it have to have a title, in fact?
No.
Can't it be a small piece after the, underneath the report back on the opening of the JPF?
Yes.
Nondescript.
I think
My advice.
we could sit here talking about this all night, to be honest.
Yeah.
And we're not going
Until
to.
we get, until
Yeah,
we've got
so-
something
To
in
discuss.
black and white, literally,
Yes.
to discuss, then we don't know.
So we'll sort of reserve judgment about the order, the front page and the back page.
No, I think we should decide the pages now. I think
One of the
we.
biggest events in the village at the moment, just ignoring all the battles over, that is the JPF facility.
Yeah.
And
It
that
is.
really, if any other newspaper would be front
Yeah.
page news, we've got a quarterly, so it's a bit retrospective. Will the Bath and the BMX track be in by then? Or is that still a big
No.
question mark?
Be an expert.
Still poorly?
Yeah, and I was saying to the chairman yesterday, it could help us because there's a possibility we might be able to get some funding.
Right,
In
okay.
fact, it's been pushed back to the summer. It means
Yeah.
we've got the opportunity to. I'm meeting with Mr. Blount on Tuesday, and he's got a way to actually put an application for possible funding to help
good.
us.
Good.
It's not a huge amount, but it's all going to help.
Anything else?
So the fact it's been delayed slightly is going to be actually quite beneficial.
Right.
So front page is going to be report back on the opening of the JPF and something banal and nondescript and neutral from the chairman, titled or untitled, whatever we feel. Middle two pages are going to be the environment, John Blount's neighbourhood plan with a little bit about the environment from me. And the back page is going to be Anne Clendon's piece and your piece. Anything else? Have you had any other suggestions?
Oh, I had no.
No.
I think Chancellor Clinton wants to write an article about driving in the village.
Oh no.
She's included dog mess in this one here, hasn't she? Yeah.
Not another one.
She hasn't sent that. She said she's going to send one in, but hasn't sent it in yet. But she's asked if it could be an article about driving.
Oh, hang on, with the dog mess thing, there was this thing we were discussing, the survey, which would put a different slant on it.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry, what survey?
There was those
Forms
forms,
we've got
whatever
from the
forms,
Borough
I've
Council
got
about
a copy of it.
reporting if you see dog mess at the GP.
Oh, yes.
To report that, so we can get a report going about what I've
Photograph.
seen. So I had a photograph sent through from Mr. McDermott yesterday, where he spotted somewhere else. I'm not too sure where he saw it. I haven't opened the actual email yet.
I mean, if we're trying to do that,
Yeah,
then that's something that we need to publicise, isn't it?
yeah. I should put
Instead
that
of
one
just the usual,
Yeah,
pick it up type thing, this is a different slant.
it
It's
is.
a positive action.
So who's going to be responsible for writing that then? 'Cause
Well,
it could be tacked on to
Doesn't
the
need
end
to
of
be,
that.
I mean, Clark could write that, it's only a few, it's only a...
Would you?
I said Clark
Oh,
could
Clark's,
write that. It's,
Oh, that's usually how I get
It's
people to do
delegation
things,
of
you know.
responsibility.
Well, it's getting paid then for a bit.
Clark.
Oh, could you pop something on the end of Anne's then? Or if
Yeah,
you think
yeah,
it
yeah,
merits
yeah,
its
yeah.
own little
I'll
title?
take probably the bottom bit here out and add it in.
Yeah.
And I think really we've got enough now, really, considering, haven't we?
Yeah.
So hopefully John will be doing a bit of a splash about the neighbourhood plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I spoke to
If
him
that's not forthcoming, we've got too many pages to fill shortly.
I spoke to him on Tuesday about that, and he was a bit of a panic, he thought I wanted it for tonight. I said, no.
Oh no,
You've got a few
no.
weeks.
Lots of
But just to
photographs.
start thinking about it, and it's basically to sort of pick out sort of main points from the draft plan,
Yeah.
so that people are aware of it. I've had a lot of people coming here, there's been discussions on Facebook and stuff.
Mm.
Yeah.
So just sort of building on that
Mm-hmm.
to get the idea out, so people know what it's about.
All the surveys going out, everything else that's gone out, and we've still got people unsure what it is.
Mm. Although I think people are more clued up than they were.
Oh, heck of a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Right.
It's a talking point, certainly.
Good,
and I
well,
think
that's
with-
good in a
with,
way.
You know, with people.
Yeah. That is good. Right, are we still aiming for first delivery Monday the 23rd of March? Well, we can aim for it, can't we?
Yes, when are we settling the opening? Are we going to do it for the weekend instead of a weekday now? JPF opening. I want to know because I want to book time off work.
It'll be a weekday, won't it?
Why would it be a weekday? We get more people there at the weekend.
Well, I don't think it's for the numbers of people who'll be up there. It's just the ceremonial bit, really, isn't it? Of
I don't know.
having an opening and
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Well, do you want a damp squib event, or do you want an event with a bit of a splash? Because if there aren't very many people there and we need photos, it'll be the same people all the
It'll
time.
be raining.
Yes, it'll be the same people all the time, won't it? If there aren't very many...
Well, we've got to try and find another person to attend if we can in the short
We'll
term.
need to do this by correspondence, because it's not on the agenda for tonight, so we can't really make a decision
No,
tonight.
no. We're
Right.
just,
Okay.
Yeah.
you know, we're looking at shuttling the opening.
I'll email the group and get ideas from the group as to for time, because that's the easiest way to do it.
Well, the best thing is not to do that. The best thing is to find out who can come and when they can come, and then the group follows that. Because otherwise we're doing it the wrong way around. So if they say they're coming on a Saturday, Sunday or a Monday, it's up to them, because we were inviting them, and we've got to fit in with their schedule, and then we...
No, I was also emailing around the Environment Leisure Committee, get a view from them. There needs to be a decision taken by the council. We can't do it tonight. We can do it through correspondence on the email from the committee.
Yeah, we've already agreed this though, because we sent the invitation out to ZEBCO, we've got to find a replacement.
No, I'm talking about the actual date.
The
Yeah,
date.
because the date has been set for later in the month. So
Yeah,
now
but-
put it forward, we need to get a decision taken as to when to have that. That's got to be done properly. We can't do it on the agenda item
We
tonight.
can't do it on this, but the point is we still have to follow
Oh, yes.
the visitor
Yeah.
schedule.
Can
Who
we
have you
not...
got down as visitors?
Well, I'm talking about whoever is the main attendee. I mean, we haven't got one now.
I mean, I think Paul's right, because it could be a big non-event if we don't get that right. And then, if it's considered to be urgent, can it not go on the next available agenda?
Well, we can't decide a date until we know who it is
No,
who's coming.
exactly.
So there's no point in circulating.
There's only one person you've got. Not a million miles away. It's not totally connected, but it's in Staffordshire. You've got Hasselbank, who's now the manager of Burton Albion.
We want someone a bit more profile than that.
The
Jesus.
top international football.
Can you ask him, be the manager, whoever that might be?
Nah.
But I mean, if you want somebody urgently, then It's just a name that sprung to mind.
Yeah.
He'll be trying to lift his profile up in the air, although it's a bit on his patch. You're clearly not a footballer.
No. Can't understand why people are so attached to it myself.
Which leaves us with what?
Well, I think I mean, we've got to leave it with the clerk, haven't we, to see. I think he's going to contact James to see if they've got any suggestions. And
James. All right.
Can we leave it with the clerk?
I think so. It's no good discussing it now.
No, it's not really appropriate during a meeting.
No.
No. Well, we're not taking a decision.
No. Right, so we're still aiming for the first delivery to the 23rd of March, so shall we work back from there then, Michael?
So we're looking at 5th of March for the next meeting. And that's the
Yeah.
Would
Just
that be-
before full council?
Yeah.
What time would that be? 6:30 or so?
Would you want 6?
Not 7, I think, because we've got to pay particular attention to this particular issue. We might need quite a lot of time to sort of go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, there's going to be very little that you're going to have to discuss
John?
because
Just a
John,
very short piece.
I mean, John will already have sent his
Yeah.
through, and there shouldn't be any issues in that.
No, it's just...
So there's your 2 pages. The back page is left with the clerk, so there's nothing on that. So it's only the front page.
And if John
6:30?
Blount goes political, we'll have it framed.
I was going to say that. He won't.
What I'm thinking is, if you want to have a discussion before you start getting lots of people coming in for the
Yeah.
full council, then lots of people start to have sort of
Yeah,
second,
it
quarter
is
past
true.
7, which is,
Yeah.
and it's just, you don't want the meeting
Half
disrupted.
6.
Yeah. So last time we did 6:30 for this meeting, and 6 o'clock for the second meeting. But that was quite a large middle page we were going through there now. 6:30 should be fine.
Yeah, given what we've got to do, yeah.
6:30 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so
So-
deadline for articles to you,
So
Michael.
if I've got to issue on the 9th. Right. These were the fun starts then. So,
It's take over, done.
it's okay.
There's nothing controversial in there.
Don't read all the items there.
I've got a plan.
I've got to issue the summonses on the 27th. Now, I don't need to issue the actual newsletter at that time, it's just the formal summons needs to go out for the 27th. So, it's...
Not leaving much time, this isn't, is it?
No.
We're relying on people to be strict with the deadlines.
Well, there's only John and Michael and Paul.
I'm off next week. And I'm probably 23rd.
Yes, you're off, but you can meditate about it.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Okay.
meditate, cogitate, you know.
Produce.
That's what I want next Thursday.
So when's the deadline for articles due, Michael?
Right. For you to have read some, for a councillor to have read something, needed 24 hours before the meeting. Therefore, I've got to get it out. I've got to get the actual draft newsletter to councillors by the 4th. So if we said the actual
Newsletter that you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we're all on.
Yeah. So the summons has to go out on the 27th. So if we said the 27th, if we said the 27th, by the 27th, that's given as long as possible to actually write it. It also gives me a chance to write my bit as well when I get back after being away.
Do you want one the last day?
No, what I'm saying is I've got to issue the summons
On the 27th?
on the 27th.
Yeah, so...
I could write that now. It's a standard. It's
Well, yeah, yes.
The agenda is pretty standard for it. So that bit I can do that, that's not a problem. Legally you must have the papers 24 hours before.
So 26th.
So, no, 24 hours before the meeting. So you must have the papers
Oh,
legally
yeah.
by the 4th, by the Wednesday. So you've got a chance to read them, so you come to me and say you have read them. Whether you've read them or not is immaterial,
Yeah.
you've had them for 24 hours.
Mm.
Therefore, if they come in to me by the 27th, I can work on them on the following Monday
Yeah.
Newsletter, yeah.
and get them out
Yeah,
on email on either the Tuesday or the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So when councillors come on the Thursday, they have a chance to read them.
yeah. Fine.
Right,
So articles by the 27th.
yeah,
Sounds like a plan for that bit.
okay. Since it's going to be so bland, it shouldn't be a problem, should it?
It'll be more difficult.
Yes, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of red pens.
I've got some red pens.
I could just feel it. As I said, at the end of the day, it's individual for council to decide. I'll just give my advice, but I'll bear in mind that the police last year did prosecute successfully someone for giving out tea and biscuits. And if you're found guilty on this side here, you're now looking at a level 5 fine if it's deemed to be electioneering, and that's 5 years ban from being a councillor.
Can
Are you
I-
worried about this? Because you sound quite
Yeah,
nervous.
Can I reassure the clerk that we won't be giving out tea and biscuits?
No. That's up to you, it's an individual, of course. So that's the council. The council won't be doing it.
I mean, I don't know how you're going to take this, but if you don't feel that you can deliver such an article, maybe somebody else could write it to your approval, and you could put your name to it, you know.
Oh, yeah. I don't think so.
Right, all right then. If you're sure,
I'm just impressed the fact that you
this is
suggested
all right.
that.
I mean, I can do bland. Being a linguist, I can do bland. I can do anything.
It's beyond bland though, isn't it? 'Cause you can't mention anything that the council achieved in the last 4 years, because that's electioneering.
Anyway, we know what that is.
Yeah, we know
Yeah.
what pressures we're under. We know what our constraints are. Okay, we've agreed the next date. So I don't think there's anything else to
No.
discuss. So I declare the meeting closed at 8:06.
Oh,
8:05.
8:05.
8:05.
Right.
On the atomic one.
Right. Do you want to keep this then?
Yeah, I've got it on the email anyway, but I'll get one on.
So, right, brilliant.
Excellent.
That's what we like. So who's written that sign then?
Michael, no. You've got one of these, I can.
Yeah, I had a black and white copy
Great
printed off. Do you want it in colour or black and white?
Original
Okay.
Hayward.
Black and white should be okay. That's cheap.
Original Colwich.
Oh right, so it's right, okay.
No, that just
This is like a good idea, I think.
Broke my computer that did.
Did it? Why?
Yeah, it was too big to go through. My computer and the Anthony's one.
Sounds very Tolkien-esque actually.
Alright.
It's locked into the system, just went on a loop.
No, that's
So I had to get onto the print before the software
Mm.
to fix it. You know, before.
No, no.